Hello everyone and welcome to this Blender video. Today we're going to be looking at how to make something like this. This is a wheel. So we're going to learn how to model this. Well, we're just going to model this one. What we're going to do is, do I have a grease pen? Yeah, new. So what we're going to do is we're just going to model this one section right here. Then we're going to mirror it across, get that. And we're going to use an array modifier with an object offset to do the rest of the wheel. That's an arrow. Cool. Alright, so if you want to use the same background image, feel free. There'll be a link where you can download it. You do have to do some adjustments if you apply it. But if you're using your own, that's cool too. This will still be helpful. Alright, let me delete that. Okay, so let's get started. Gonna first of all have our 3D cursor centered. Add in a circle with more than 6 vertices. For this tire or this wheel, 42 works very well. I'll explain that to you in just a second. Scale it up to about the same size as the outer rim. And the only reason why the vertice count matters is because you want to pay attention to where this, since we're just modeling this one section, you kind of want to make sure that this lines up in the center of where, whoopsies, kind of lines up into the center of where another spoke starts. So that's selected. I'm going to use Control-I to select everything else. And just delete those vertices. Now I'm going to switch our pivot point to our 3D cursor and just sort of extrude scale for these this little outer rim section. And our normals are backwards. I will fix that in 1 second. And then we're just going to move them back a little bit. And boop. Bueno. Just do Control-N to fix your normals. And we'll probably add in our mirror modifier now. This spoke section here, I'm going to model last. So I'm just going to duplicate that last inner thing of vertices and scale it in to about here. Then scale it in, do the same thing we were doing before, and the normals are backwards for that as well. So let's do Control-N to fix that. And I think this is, yeah, this is a little slanted. So I'm gonna select all that, just do Scale X 0, which will straighten it out. So and that's a circle. So we're going to add in, and the way I like to cut holes in meshes is I'm going to add in a separate object, circle, with only 6 vertices, align that to view, and rotate it 90. Rotate 90. Scale that down to about the rough size as same. Oh, that's still 3D. Cursor meeting point. Scale it to be about the same size as this. It doesn't have to be exact, it's just a rough thing. So we're going to shift select our wheel mesh, go into edit mode, and knife project. And then we can delete that circle. And what that does is it adds in a bunch of ugly shapes. So what we're going to do is first of all, delete these vertices right here, because this is a hole. And then we're going to use Alt-M, select some vertices, do Alt-M to start merging things, to sort of clear up some of these gross things. Just do that a couple times. And that's still pretty not good, but I'm not going to care about it too much. I'm just going to use K for knife tool to cut in some loops here. Not like that. Like, oh, that's a little messed up. Like that. Okay, that's fixed. fix that. Now the only reason I did that is so we can add a loop cut here or here if we need it. This isn't gonna, these triangles aren't gonna have a big impact on anything, so I'll just keep them. Okay, let's do the spoke now. Well, we should probably put clipping on first. I'm just gonna extrude these 3 vertices up and bring them down a little bit. I'm gonna put these 2 up here. And probably add in a loop cut about here. And here. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so for this section, I'm just going to extrude this up about here. Scale it in a little bit, not that much. And then what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to use edge slide to bring these over to where this is going to connect. I did that one a little too much. And then I'm just going to use Alt M to merge those vertices. And I will add in a loop cut here. And what I'm going to do is delete these faces underneath. Okay. Oopsies. And so we're just going to start moving. These edge loops aren't aligned to where they should be, so I'm just going to start using edge slide, which is, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the shortcut for that is G twice. So that moves those into position. Do the same thing for this side. It's not perfect, but it is fine. I'm going to add in 2 more loop cuts here and fill in these faces. Okay. Bueno. Okie dokie. So what we're going to move on to next is this area right here. Now we're going to extrude that and add in this depth right there. I want to pay, this vertex is special, so we're going to do that in a little bit. Okay, we'll just fill in this face here. And we'll do the same thing for this area right here. Let's see. I did that a little bit way too far. Okay, and we'll move that up to where that should be. And we'll fill in this face. For this vertex right here, I'm going to switch this back to 3D cursor. And we want this to, that vertex to kind of follow that line if it was a little better. But how we do that is going to switch this to 3D cursor, Shift D to duplicate, and 3D cursor should be centered first of all, and we're just going to scale it up. And then we can fill this in. Switch this to active element, and we will scale X0 to make that align with that. And what I will do for here is just, no, that's probably fine actually. But this is our spoke, or one of them. So what we do next is, first of all, I make a backup. Just click Shift D and move it to a separate layer before we apply our mirror modifier. So now we have one that's, if we want to go back, we have one to go back to. But we're just going to add in an array first of all. There's 7 spokes on this tire, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. And then with our cursor selected, we're just going to add in that empty. I said already. Switch our array modifier from relative offset to object, and choose that empty. And this isn't really the effect we're going for, so we're going to Control A, apply rotation and scale, which puts all of the 7 copies of this into the same spot, which is not a problem because that's what's supposed to happen. and we just grab this empty object and rotate it, which rotates everything around. Cool. So we just rotate that. Use shift for smooth rotation, and we'll just check off merge and first last for our array modifier. So that's pretty much it, actually. Of course, you could do more detail for the like this area. You could add a subsurface modifier. But that's pretty much the basics of how you'd go about doing this. So, I hope you learned something good, something helpful. If you did, feel free to like the video, because that's cool. And if you have any suggestions for Blender tutorials or anything, then feel free to post a comment, and yeah, I'll get back to you on that. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time.